It's June 4th, 1980. We are inside the legendary Santiago Bernabéu Stadium in Madrid. The stands are absolutely packed, 65,000 screaming fans. It's the final of the Copa del Rey, Spain's most prestigious knockout tournament. The players are lined up in the tunnel. You look to your left, and there's Real Madrid, the giants of European football, dressed in their iconic all-white kits. Then you look to your right to see the challengers. But there's a glitch in the matrix. The team on the right is also Real Madrid, dressed in a purple kit. They have the exact same crest on their chests.
Because on this bizarre day in football history, Real Madrid wasn't playing Barcelona. They weren't playing Atletico Madrid. Real Madrid was playing against Real Madrid.
All right, I know what you're thinking. How was that even legally possible? Did they split the squad in half? Was it a charity match? No. This was a completely official, cutthroat, major cup final. To understand how we got here, we have to talk about Castilla. Castilla is Real Madrid's B team, their reserve squad. They are the academy kids, the understudies, the guys fighting for a chance to one day sit on the bench for the senior team. Back in the late 70s and early 80s, the Spanish Football Federation had a very interesting rule. Reserve teams were allowed to compete in the Copa del Rey alongside the senior teams. There was only one rule. The junior players weren't allowed to play against the main Real Madrid team early in the tournament. The bosses running Spanish football probably thought, it's no big deal, a bunch of teenagers from a lower league are going to get knocked out early anyway, right? Well, in that 1979-1980 season, those kids took that assumption personally. Castilla didn't just have a good run. They went on an absolute bloodbath of a giant slaying spree. First, they knocked out Hercules. Okay, a nice little upset. Then they faced Athletic Bilbao. Bilbao isn't just any club. They are Copa del Rey royalty. Castilla sent them packing. Next up was Real Sociedad. Now you have to realize, Real Sociedad finished second in La Liga that year. They were one of the best teams in Europe. Castilla beat them too. Finally, in the semifinals, they faced Sporting Gijón. After losing the first leg, these kids rallied at the Bernabéu and won 4-1 to punch their ticket to the final. And waiting for them in the final, the ultimate test, the very men these kids were training to replace, the main Real Madrid team. Imagine the awkwardness at the training ground that week. You're a 19-year-old kid eating lunch in the cafeteria, making eye contact with the legendary multi-millionaire superstars you're supposed to play against on Sunday. When the day of the final finally arrived, the atmosphere in Madrid was unlike anything the sport had ever seen or will see again. The Bernabéu was sold out, but there was no away end. There was no hostility. It was a massive family party. The fans in the stadium spent the entire 90 minutes cheering for every single good pass, regardless of which team made it. But the second the match actually started, the fairy tale was over. The senior superstars clearly had one goal: do not let these kids embarrass us. They didn't go easy on them. The veterans were ruthless, showed no mercy, and proved exactly why they were the main team. They completely crushed the younger guys, winning the game 6-1. But the scoreline didn't really matter. It was what happened after the final whistle that cemented this day in football folklore. Usually, when a cup final ends, the losing team collapses in tears, collects their runner-up medals, and vanishes into the locker room. Not today. But after the game, something amazing happened. Instead of the winners celebrating and the losers walking off in tears, both teams came together on the field. When the main squad lifted the championship trophy,
The younger players celebrated right there with them. They ran a victory lap around the stadium together as one massive family, taking the ultimate father and son picture on the biggest stage.
This match broke the system. Seriously, it was so completely absurd that the Spanish Federation eventually changed the rules. By 1990, reserve teams were officially banned from entering the Copa del Rey ever again. But there was one final hilarious twist to this story. Back then, winning the Copa del Rey earned you a ticket to play in a special European tournament called the Cup Winners' Cup. But because the main Real Madrid team had also won their league that year, they were promoted to the biggest tournament in Europe instead. Since they couldn't play in two European tournaments at once, they had to give their Cup Winners' Cup ticket to the runner-up. And who was the runner-up? You guessed it. The next season, the Academy Kids of Castilla, a backup team, were officially playing in a major European competition against teams from other countries.
Yep, the following season, Real Madrid Castilla, a second Division B team, played in a major European competition. They even beat West Ham United in the first leg before eventually getting knocked out. To this day, they remain the only reserve team in history to play in a European tournament. A reserve team knocking out top-tier clubs just to face their own senior team for a major trophy is the ultimate glitch in the football matrix. The rules were rewritten so it can never happen again, cementing it as the craziest final in history. If you want more wild football stories, subscribe to Baller IQ. Catch you next time.